Babata sauce, barata sauce, bariga sauce. Who got the sauce? Babata sauce, barata sauce, bariga sauce. Who got the sauce? Babata sauce, barata sauce, bariga sauce. Who got the sauce? Babata sauce.
Dumela, I am Bukama Somakole. I'm also Big Star of the Dawn, the heaviest stone of all time, in any language, any planet.
Yo, what's up? My name is Tumelo, also known as Botswana. I'm from Drug Free, the new cool organization, best known for my work as an activist against alcohol and drug abuse. And also, I'm a life coach who helps people by using my life experiences.
My name is Raven Gatsby, the artist, and I do political activism art in my spare time, and yeah, that's about it.
Hi, my name is Tulani Tau. I am an actor, director, producer, creative, all-rounder. Started in a production series called Colors, which aired on DSTV and BTV as well. Yeah, this is Guy Code BW. Let's do this.
Are you going to take the vaccination? Yes, I'm going to take the vaccination. I'm still doing research on the same one that the presidents took. The presidents of the countries that ruled it out. China, chairman of China. What's his name? Xi Jinping. That's the vaccination I want. I want the best one. Yeah.
Are you going to take the vaccination? Definitely, I'm going to take the vaccination. I don't think there was need for them to even say I'm armed and ready, whatever they call it. They wasted a lot of cash. They should have bought vaccine. Everybody's going to take it. It's called survival of the fittest. If you don't take it, you're doomed. So make sure, guys, if you go with those theories, they Bill Gates, what, it will never work for you. You're going to die.
Are you going to take the vaccination? I need to do a lot of research because I know there will be side effects, so it's about us choosing which side effects we don't mind living with, because they're definitely there. But I'll look to see which men or women of importance have taken which one and all that.
Are you going to take the vaccination? How am I going to take the vaccination? Honestly, I think I'll take the vaccination only when I have to, when it's imperative. I have work or something, I have to cross the border and I have to take this vaccination, I will. Otherwise, I believe if I'm COVID-free and I'm taking care of myself, I'm staying clear of that vaccination until I've seen enough people healthy and fine. Yeah.
Why do we allow corruption? I think we allow corruption because we don't know that we can disallow it. And if we do know that we can disallow it, we don't know how. I think people lack personal responsibility. And if everyone had a more direct engagement with their sense of personal responsibility, we would have what it takes to disallow corruption.
Why do we allow corruption? I asked that question a few days earlier. Is it correct? Is it corruption or connection? When it's favoring you, you call it connection. When it's favoring somebody, you call it corruption. How do we distinguish between the two? Where do we draw the line? Or should the better man get the job? Which is not always the case. But understand the difference between corruption and connection. I think they're one and the same thing.
Why do we allow corruption? Some things are already there before you, and they've got a hierarchy and order in which they work. And if you're going to disrupt it, make sure you're either ready to die or to stand out. And the Chinese have a saying that the nail that sticks out the most gets hammered the hardest.
All right. Why do we allow corruption? Why do we allow corruption? I think it's become something of a norm in Botswana to allow corruption because Kamoso minister usually 100 meters so no one is held accountable. So in a way, people get away, and unfortunately, it's become normal in Botswana, and we've learned to accept it and hit the shrug. Which is rubbish.
What would it take for you to hit a woman in rage? Wow. I think it would take a very specific set of circumstances. So I would have to be defending myself in rage against a male assailant. And if that male assailant happens to duck with the quickness to be able to evade my blow and it somehow lands on a woman, I think that is the only circumstance under which I would hit a woman in rage. Outside of that, I can't see.
What would it take for you to hit a woman in rage? Yo. I don't know. Being under the influence? Something? I don't know, because a fight sometimes just comes. Some people, for them, it's more of a reflex. I don't know what it would take. Especially these days, I've exercised a lot of patience. I know how to control my emotions. But it does happen to people.
What would it take for you to hit a woman in rage? To be honest, if I'm enraged, I doubt I'd even remember it was a woman or a man because I'd be acting out of character. Rage is a place I don't normally go, but I can assume if I go there, I'll only realize when I'm in court.
What would it take for you to hit a woman out of rage? I think for me, honestly, it's if I feel my life is threatened. That is the only time that I think I would actually physically handle a female. Because I don't think there's any other excuse for that. Honestly.
Do you know or have a channel to discuss issues? I discuss issues with my support structure, which is usually my friends and family. But outside of that, I don't think I'm aware of an accessible channel to discuss issues, which I think is something that definitely needs to be added into our communities, because people have issues. Issues are a part of life as much as life is itself. And I don't know if people know exactly where they can unpack and elaborate on that issues in a safe space.
Do you know or have a channel to discuss issues? A channel to discuss issues. I don't know which channel you're talking about. Are you talking about media channels? Are you talking about, if it's media channels, I think talking about discuss issues. We don't have a lot of things that we do discuss, a lot of issues. I think by now, sitting here right now, we're discussing a couple of issues. I think that's the right platform that we need as the youth to discuss such things.
Do you know or have a channel to discuss issues? I don't think so, but I feel like you need to find some of the answers within yourself. So sometimes enjoying to be alone can help you evolve.
Do you know or have a channel to discuss issues? Do I know or have a channel to discuss issues? Not really sure how I interpret this question. The channel is in a platform where I can share therapists and so forth. If so, I think I do have channels or options for that, but as a guy generally, or just being myself personally, I don't use those options that I made available to me.
Do you know your area MP or council member? My area MP is Anna Mukheti. I don't even know where the offices are. I don't know where the council offices are, and I think that's something that needs to change in order for our area to be looked after. I think there needs to be a more direct means of communication between, or even know that there is a way in which a citizen can access their MP and council member and get things done.
Do you know your area MP or council member? I stay in block 5. I think my area MPs are Namotlagodi. I don't know about the councilman, but I know him. He's always by Grandpa. They're making noise there with the guys selling airtime and smoking. Those guys were smoking, but I don't know about him. He doesn't smoke or drink, I think. But he doesn't do anything. You know what? I'm talking to you right now. Do something about Block 5, bro. You know, or otherwise you're going to lose.
Do you know your area MP or council member? No, I do not. I don't even know where their offices are. I don't know which party one. I don't know how they help us. You know, and peace to them. It's just mixed up. I really don't care to know, if I'm to be very honest.
Do you know your area MP or council member? Excuse me. I actually used to know the council member, but that was during the last campaign elections. But these election campaigns, I actually have no idea who he is. I just know what came with BDP. But in terms of awareness, I believe they're not out there about not making themselves known.
Do we need to put condoms in prisons? Yeah, if there's lube, I think. Lubrication. I mean, yeah, I think so. I think that they should be there. Although I feel like one of the main things for men prisons is that the avenues for sexual pleasure are eliminated as part of the punishment. But because of the fact that they still, you know, sexual activities still take place, I think they should have.
Do we need to put condoms in prisons? I'd definitely say no. Somebody would ask me why I would say no. I've been to prison, I've lived in prison. Not everybody there has sex with other men. But putting condoms in prisons, it will just put people's lives at risk, because you are now giving them a go-ahead to have sex in prison. You are now giving them a go-ahead to even abuse others more, because they now have the right to do it.
Do we need to put condoms in prisons? I've never been to prison, so I can't give an honest or fair answer to that. That's one place I don't want to be, because if that question itself is giving you, you know, like a hard time to answer it, just avoid being there.
Do we need to put condoms in prisons? Do we need to put... Hell yeah, we need to put condoms in prisons. Am I telling you there are no condoms in prisons? Because people are doing the most in prison. So I think for the protection of other inmates, and especially to control infections, condoms are a must in prison. I can't believe there are no condoms in prisons if they're not. I mean, that should be standard procedure, honestly. What?
Are families generally protecting drug dealers? Yes, generally they're protecting drug dealers. I think it's big business. If someone in your family is making money for the family by selling drugs, you're going to protect how food is put on plate. Definitely. And also, if the drug dealer is giving you the drugs, you're going to protect the dealer. You're going to protect the source of that which you enjoy. And families generally protect each other.
Are families generally protecting the drug dealers? This I'm very much interested in. Yeah, a lot of people, even not only families, even friends, you know. But when the thing happens to them as a family, when their child now is involved in drugs and they're abusing drugs, it becomes like, no, that drug dealer is not okay. Until it hits home, it's okay for your child to sell somebody drugs, but it's not good. And yes, families are protecting the drug dealers.
Are families generally protecting drug dealers? Are families generally protecting drug dealers? I don't know what family that would be to protect you knowing that you sell drugs. If it's hard, man, you know, do whatever it takes to eat, because, you know, if you don't eat, you don't drink water, just your essentials, it's what it is, man. I don't judge, but if you get in my personal space, give my kids drugs, so we're gonna have problems.
Are families generally protecting drug dealers? Yeah, of course they are, man. Half the time you realize that the drug dealer is the breadwinner. I don't wanna go guys who are I wanna say shabo. So what do you guys do? They hustle, man. I wanna di tiro, the economy is going to the pit. So just like Pamela and the phone, you know, chicken go like bang or say shabo. Yeah, families protect the breadwinner.
What mindset do you think people that commit suicide have in common? I think bukuwa, or, you know, the lack of courage, the process of elimination of options that all require courage in order for them to be carried out. So when your courage is finally defeated, I mean, just to be alive requires a great deal of courage. From when you were born as a baby, learning how to walk and crawl, these are all courageous challenges to the tragic nature of life.
What mindset do you think people that commit suicide have in common? Wow, a mindset that they have in common. It's like they have given up. They don't want to be anybody's burden anymore. They believe that there's something better out there than the life that I'm living right now. Because it's more of, I can't do this now. Maybe if I die, I'll find something better in the afterlife or something.
What mindset do you think people that commit suicide have in common? What I do know is whatever thought they had, it was a dark place, and for me to even fathom where they were would mean me committing suicide myself, and that's a realm I don't play, and it's very evil.
What mindset do you think people that commit suicide have in common? What mindset people that commit suicide have in common? I think it's this mindset of helplessness. It's like the point of no return. You know, hopelessness, loneliness, I believe, because I think suicide at the end of the day is something when you feel like a social outcast, when you feel there's no one there for you. Yeah.
Is the entertainment industry having problems of drug abuse? Definitely. Yes, definitely. I think every industry is having a problem of drug abuse. But yes, I definitely think the entertainment industry is having a problem with drug abuse. I think that drugs, the nature of the experimentation or the courage to challenge social norms that underwrites creativity is one of the dangers. You know, drug abuse are one of the dangers of the creative mind, because you're a creative person, you're gonna want to see what's this, what's that.
Is the entertainment industry having a problem with drug abuse? I'd definitely say yes, a whole yes. You know, and they give a whole lot of reasons. Some of them will tell you too many shows I have to perform, wire. Some would say no, it brings out the creative juices. But are we seeing them having problems also? You know, it's giving them a whole lot of problems. You know, some of them you see the whole paranoia starting kicking in. Some of them even go crazy.
Is the entertainment industry having problems of drug abuse? Yeah, it's very visible. I think we know some of them. They're very vocal, and that causes entertainment. It goes hand in hand. If there's anything wrong with it, it's the people who consume it, not the people who entertain through drugs and all that.
Is the entertainment industry having problems of drug abuse? Is the entertainment industry? Yeah, I think so. I think every entertainment industry has problems of drug abuse because it's like drugs go hand in hand with entertainment, unfortunately. You know, looking at your recreational use to just some people using it in terms of, I don't know, to get ahead or advance, you know, the performance, etc.
If you could bring someone back to life, who would it be and why? I wouldn't bring anyone back to life. I feel like there's as much importance in death as there is in life, and we learn so much from death about the finality of life and the limitations that we have against life, that it's a constant reminder of how important and how precious time is. And all the people that I know that have died have served as great lessons that have added value to my life, or I've chosen to take value from them. So I wouldn't bring anyone back to life.
If you could bring someone to life, who would it be and why? I've lost a lot of people in my life. I've lost a lot of people in my life. lost my sister, my uncle, my dad, my girlfriend. But I'll definitely try and bring back my little sister. She never had the opportunity to live her life to the fullest. She passed away when she was still young. I think she just needs that opportunity.
If you could bring someone back to life, who would it be and why? I would bring back my grandmother on my father's side, because my father's done a lot for me, as many other parts of the family have, but I think it would be something I just give him as a present. I know it might not happen, but my grandmother.
If you could bring someone back to life, who would it be and why? Hectic question. If I could bring someone back to life, why? I think it would be my father, yeah, definitely. Not I think, it would be my father. Because I would like to see how I would have been with him more around, like particularly past when I was in primary school. Yeah, what type of guy I would be with his influence and all. Would I be a better man or not? Or, yeah.
Can Botswana become a first world country? Yes, I definitely think it can. It's a question of leadership, design, and commitment on the part of its citizens and its stakeholders. You know, it's a collaborative effort. We definitely have the resources, and everything points in the direction of it being a first world country. I've always said Botswana is like Africa Beta or Africa 2.0. We're less like other developing countries that certainly I've visited in terms of infrastructure, society, and just general socio-economic conditions.
Can Botswana become a first world country? Yeah, depends. We can if the right people are put in place. You know, looking at the fact that we're still a developing nation, we still have an opportunity, we still have resources, we still have a lot of things that we can actually use. But the problem is the corruption that's happening around our country. That's what's pulling us back. And the right people need to be put in place. If there are no selfish people, we can make it.
Can Botswana become a first world country? With the amount of corruption going on, I don't think it will be in my lifetime. So I would just encourage people to raise their children in the right way, so that we can come closer to that vision. But I don't think it will be during my lifetime, unfortunately, which is sad to say.
Can Botswana become a first world country? Can Botswana become a first world country? Yeah, I think we should actually be a first world country. When you compare our demography, GDP, populace, and wealth, we actually are in line with both Sweden and Switzerland, those countries that are fully sustainable. But due to corruption and all kinds of nonsense and social ills in our country, we are still a third world country.
How has COVID affected your work? COVID has affected my work mainly in the family businesses, because we do a lot of property work, and it's made it difficult for tenants to pay rent. And in the tourism sector, we've had a huge decline in the amount of jobs that we get in tourism. Outside of that, it hasn't really affected my work.
Let me see. Has COVID affected your work? Definitely. COVID has affected a lot of work. A lot of work has been put on hold because of COVID, because usually the work that I do involves addressing people. You know, you can't address a lot of people nowadays during COVID because you have to social distance. The more people that are there, the more it can spread. So it has affected a lot of it, and a lot of jobs have been lost.
How has COVID-19 affected your work? I think barely. If anything, it's leveled the playing field. I think when people were being retrenched, they didn't know what it means not to have a job. Some of us, when we graduated, we aren't even using our qualifications, but you'll never see us complaining, lacking anything.
How has COVID affected your work? How has COVID affected your work? COVID has affected work quite hectically, especially international travel, funding projects, and just collaborations, particularly across the border. So COVID really has hampered and made a lot of careers stagnant in Botswana, particularly I would say mine as well. So But I think we also now need to learn to adapt and live with COVID. So, yeah, it's all about surviving.
Are we ready to discuss alcoholism as a country? No, I don't think so. I don't think alcohol is big business. I mean, we just saw recently how the closing of the breweries almost even, shut the country down. So I think it being big business means that discussing it as a country is something that we're not ready to do globally. It's not something that we're generally ready to do, but it's definitely something that must happen. It's definitely something that is imperative to the survival of our communities.
Are we ready to discuss alcoholism as a country? I think definitely not. We're still seeing people posing with alcohol. Alcohol has been made so it's so socially acceptable that when you tell somebody's an alcoholic, they'll tell you like, "Hey, no." And you see families are drinking. It's good. It's an entertainment thing for families, friends, and everything. So, I think people are still scared to say alcoholism is real.
Are we ready to discuss alcoholism as a country? I think it doesn't, like we don't discuss it because it's integrated and hidden into family structures. Some people are highly progressive on alcohol, it's an antidepressant, all those things. So we might as well put it on the Botswana flag.
Are you ready to discuss alcoholism as a country? Are we ready to discuss alcoholism as a country? I think we're not ready, but we should. I don't think we should ever be made ready. We should just have this discussion about alcoholism because so many lives are lost, on alcohol itself. We are channeling so many other faults or finding other reasons for death and despair in the country, but it's alcoholism. Think of car accidents.
So this is the wrap up of Guys Code BW. We hope you enjoyed it. The chances of you finding us men sitting together, it's very rare, and we're a knowledge bank. So we're just gonna go around quickly and ask each other questions, and then we'll wrap it up. How well do you feel you know your culture? How well do you feel you know your culture?
Who else starts? Should I kick it?
Yeah, go for it.
How well do I know my culture? I think our culture has been diluted. It's been diluted a lot because we live in a, I don't know what to say. We live in
globalized.
Yeah, it's globalized. Yeah, but we really need our culture for certain things. From discipline to knowing what we have to do when we have this going bad in our community. How can we be united together? I think our culture did something of that sort.
Yeah.
It united us. But now we're just getting people's cultures out there. Yes, in Botswana there are a lot of cultures, but I think the African culture has something that it's similar to from different
commonality.
Yeah,
like 100% I agree with African culture. We've lost the core value, the Ubuntu, the togetherness.
Yeah.
I feel the more we become, how do you call this, first world and westernized, we isolate ourselves from cultures and knowing each other. I give an example with our neighbors. You hear an alarm ringing in my neighborhood. No one actually checks up on them. Remember back in the day when we were fencing?
Horrible.
We had friends. We knew each other. Kids knew each other from this floor to that floor. My brother grew up not knowing people in his neighborhood. He just had his PlayStation and school friends. That's it.
He's got Facebook friends.
So we hear and Facebook friends.
Mind your own business.
Yeah.
And I think we don't know our culture. I think there are valuable components of our culture that are lost in translation into this new empire of the globalized world.
Yeah.
So I mean, in as much as we might feel, I think it's a really good thing what you said is it's been diluted. So even what we feel we know about our culture, we still don't know it well enough.
100%.
And definitely I've recently been coming into contact with different aspects of our culture, things like mentorship and communication in family settings, that the absence of which has led to the development of a lot of these social ills. So I think we need to really go back to that drawing board and look and see how culturally we were able to combat these things in order to be able to make meaningful progress.
No, 100%. Kutan has a question this side.
Okay.